Well, there's a push in a number of states to prevent former President Donald Trump from appearing on the presidential primary ballot, and Michigan is one of those states. It's a lawsuit brought by a well-known Detroit political activist, and today the Michigan Court of Claims heard arguments in this case. For more on what happened there, we turn to Local 4's Rod Maloney. He's live in the newsroom with more on this story. Rod.
Yeah, Kimberly, today's hearing happened just the day after a Minnesota court refused to prevent the former president from appearing on the ballot. He'll be on the ballot, at least in the primary. The case actually puts Donald Trump's attorney arguing on the same side of the case as Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, and that is a very unlikely pairing. Detroiter Robert Davis brought this case. He claims the 14th Amendment of the Constitution precludes former President Trump from running because of his involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, which he views as an insurrection. The amendment dates back to the Civil War and hasn't been used since the 1870s. Davis sued the Secretary of State because she won't step in and declare the former president ineligible for the ballot. Before Judge James Robert Redford in Grand Rapids today, Benson's attorney, Heather Meingast from the Michigan Attorney General's office, made her case, saying Congress alone is the one to make that determination.
We have no administrative process. We have no process for conducting any kind of inquiry or investigation into something like this. The Secretary doesn't have any subpoena power. It's just simply not there. The legislature hasn't, provided us with any kind of administrative vehicles.
And President Trump's attorney, Michael Colombo, quoted from a California court ruling saying roughly the same thing.
The Constitution assigns to Congress and not to federal courts the responsibility of determining whether a person is qualified to serve as President of the United States.
Now, it's important to point out Robert Davis is not an attorney, yet he did argue for better than a half hour, his part of the case, getting ballots printed and off to the legally mandated time so military members can have ballots is one of the questions at hand. Davis wants the judge essentially to decide Trump cannot be on the ballot and have them shipped right away. The judge didn't make a ruling. He's going to have a written opinion soon. Back to you.
Rod, I know you mentioned at the beginning of your report that Minnesota's Supreme Court decided yesterday to allow the former president on the ballot. I'm wondering, did any of that come up at all today?
Well, as a matter of fact, it did, because Robert Davis was actually happy. It was kind of a split decision because they allowed the primary ballot, the president, to appear on that, but the Minnesota Supreme Court did allow for a question of whether the president can be on the regular presidential ballot if he wins the primary. And that, Robert Davis says he would like to be part of more, or see happening more here in the state of Michigan.
See that. Okay. Rod, we appreciate it.